Hello everyone. So today we're going to be fixing we'll see if Kiwi collaborates or participates or just doesn't make a huge mess. We're going to be fixing a security bug on ServerlessHandbook.dev that a bunch of people have reported over the last couple of weeks. And basically, I mean, it's pretty bad. It's not that bad. It's nothing to do with user logins, or maybe it does a little bit. Basically, the problem is that the paywall is very easily defeated. Hey, Miha, and people are telling me, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't make that paywall so easy to defeat because we like your book, and it's kind of ridiculous that it's so easy to just borrow from your sites. So I'm going to real quick tweet out this link. How do I do that? YouTube. Yay. So I have a distraction blocker that tells me to not be on YouTube when I'm working, which then gets in the way of doing things. So copy pasta. Let's see. Paste. Come on. I really need to figure out a way to automate this usefully. Okay, so I'm gonna close this and I will show you how the bug works by using the small screen. Hey, O1 Pollux, how are you doing today? I, for one, am feeling a little groggy. I had a short night last night. So if we go to ServerlessHandbook.dev, and then if you go to this magical link that I probably shouldn't show you, but it's called downloads, and you see for a second there, you could see the links to download the. I do seem tired with no sleep. Thank you. So you see, if you reload the page, briefly you can see all of the links to download PDFs and stuff. And even worse, if you go to here, Command P, and you disable the JavaScript. No, how do I disable JavaScript again? Network performance. Does anyone remember how to disable JavaScript? Question mark. JavaScript disable. No, okay. What if we go into console settings? No, not that one. This little thingy. Shortcuts? No. What about this one? There we go. So if you click the correct cog on the interface, you can then find a way to disable. No, God damn it. Command Shift P then? Yes, Command Shift P. There we go. So if you go to Command Shift P, you can disable JavaScript. And now if you reload the page, oh wait, no wait, that JavaScript did not disable. Empty cache and hard reload. That's weird. Why is it executing JavaScript even though JavaScript is disabled? Is JavaScript disabled? Command Shift P, JavaScript. Huh. Interesting. So for whatever reason in Brave, disabling JavaScript currently doesn't work. However, people have told me that if your internet is slow and it takes a while for the JavaScript to load, let's try that one. If we go to network, let's do throttling, go slow 3G. And I'm going to reload the page, and now let's see if the links are going to stay visible for a longer time. Oh, look at that. I can just, if I'm in a country somewhere with bad internet, I can just steal all of the content without, without worrying about any paywalls or anything. That's taking a really long time. Okay, so we're gonna go try to fix that. Hey, Adrian, what do you mean sources having an icon? Pollux, I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so the way we're going to try, why is this running? So the way we're going to try to fix that is to, okay, so I'm learning something new about DevTools right now. I clicked the link. There we go. What does this link say? Disable JavaScript. Start, disable, select disable sources. The warning icon. JavaScript will remain disabled in this tab. Okay, so let's see if that. Yeah, so if I go, let's do no throttling. Sources, Command Shift P, JavaScript What did I do? JavaScript disable. Yeah, so it was there, and for some reason it's not disabling. Okay, well, here's how we're gonna try to fix that. We're gonna go into the paywall implementation and we're gonna try to invert it. I'm gonna see if we can make it so that the page renders first with paywalls and then only if the paywall is disabled or if you are, what was I saying? Basically, we're going to invert how it works. Right now, it's rendering the page and then putting the paywall over the page. We're instead going to see if we can invert that so that it first renders with a paywall and then puts up the page if the paywall is disabled. So that way it should be a little bit more secure. We will see if it is. Website serverless handbook. I'm going to git status just to see git checkout -b. Invert paywall yarn start, and let's see. First, we got to verify that we can reproduce this on localhost. And then if we can reproduce it on localhost, it means we can actually test and can figure out if we can fix this. Wow. I do look tired today, don't I? Not a great camera look. But that's okay. We're here more to hang out than anything. Let's see. It's taking a while to run. Beep, beep. Okay. Localhost 8000. I think it's still running. I can close some of these pages because I'm not using them right now. Okay. So we open the, what is it called? Is it called paywall? Yeah, it's called paywall. So we have the paywall component and it's being loaded in the layout component. And I'll show you how it works and then we'll start fixing it. So layout.js is the file that takes care of the entire layout of my entire page. It loads the header, it loads the body and puts everything together. It's a little hacky, and that's okay because this whole site is a little hacky. So layout here renders everything. Everything goes into a box. Then we have the header. That's this part here. And we have the sidebar, which shows up when you're inside on a menu. The sidebar shows on the left and shows you each chapter so that you can navigate. And where is actually the, oh my God, it's still fetching data for better TypeScript. What is wrong with my computer today? This is frustrating. Computer, what are you so busy with? Node is using 147 CPUs and Windows Server and then code. Why is VS Code using so much CPU? Okay. Clearly my streaming setup is still struggling. By the way, is there any choppiness in my stream? And shortcuts don't work. I need to get one of those stream docs. So please let me know if there's any choppiness in the stream. We're gonna try to go to the sidebar and figure out where am I actually loading the paywall. Maybe if I search for it, that will help. Paywall, there we go. So paywall is rendered here in the sidebar. Why is it rendered in the sidebar? That's confusing. Oh, I know why. It's rendered in the sidebar. This is annoying. So all of the content and the paywall and everything is rendered inside the sidebar component because that's what enables the sidebar component to take care of the layout. Take care of the layout so that it renders itself on the left and can move the content left and right depending on whether the sidebar is open. I will try to see if that actually works. Let's see. Or I'll try to show you how that works. Come on, reload the, wow. Brave decided not to even try to load that page anymore. Localhost 12 8000. So let's see. Okay, preparing requested page. Wonderful. Yes, yes, yes. Let's go to /downloads because it's a relatively short page. So /downloads. Now, obviously, if I don't fix this today, it's going to be really funny to release this video and basically tell everyone that they can do this. So you see here, we have, where's my mouse? That was the basic layout. See, it has nice little lines. And then here, that's the sidebar and that's the page, because the sidebar in theory is closable, but apparently I've disabled that. So it used to have a hamburger menu that you could open and close. Now let's see. The paywall. So we render all of, if I comment this out and the page is going to reload, you'll see that the chapter goes missing. At least that's the theory. Unhandled runtime errors. Cannot read property children of null. Right. So it needs to have something. So what we're going to do here is say hi, just to prove that this is where the content actually gets loaded. Bam. So that's hi. Now, if the content is unlocked, we render these reactions at the bottom. Where does content unlocked come from? Content unlocked comes from the paywall hook. The paywall hook takes care of managing state for the paywall, and the reason it's used to be, and it's used as a hook so that I can use it in multiple locations. So we can say, in theory, all we need to do is say content unlocked question mark props.children null, and now it's going to error out because the paywall is, oh well, it's not going to error out because I'm logged in. Cool. So now let's try that on this page. Let's see what happens here. I think it's going to error out because the same way it did before. Yep. All right. So document get element by ID content with the children is failing. Right, because, and I'll show you what happens here. So if we just render something here that has an ID of content, that's going to work. The paywall is now going to be correct-ish. Is it correct-ish? Let's see if it is correct-ish. No, cannot send blah. It's still confused. Okay, so let's go figure out how the paywall works, because I have clearly forgotten. So the paywall has, this is something I should probably write more documentation for myself and more comments. So use paywall, tries to look at local storage, whether the handbook is currently unlocked, and uses Windows and runs itself in the browser, figures out whether it's unlocked based on whether it even has a lock, and whether, oh hey, it's supposed to never unlock. That's funny. So it's the /downloads is supposed to be unlockable, which was me trying to fix this bug a while ago. It also looks whether you are currently authorized to read the handbook, which means that you've bought it and you are currently logged in. Then we use a layout effect to either hide or show the paywall. And we have unlocking the current page. Now, what's getting confused? At line 60, what is it not liking? Main.style, document query selector, main content. So it can't be a div. it needs to be a main. That's funny. Why would I try to be fancy like that? So this should now work. Let's see if it does. Reload the page. There we go. No. Why did this become unlocked? Okay, that's annoying. Let's see. Wait, content unlocked. Let's, instead of props children here, let's render something helpful. Let's say main ID equals content, and we're going to say unlocked. And here we're going to say locked, just so that we can see what's going on. So it's rebuilding the bundle, reloads the page, and it says that it's locked and shows the paywall. That's great. Reload the page again. And now it's unlocked. What? Why is it unlocked now? Why does this become unlocked when I reload the page? That makes no sense. There might be more bugs here than I thought. Let's zoom in on the console a little bit and see, is there anything in local storage that might be? No. Why does the paywall think this is unlocked? If I reload again, no. Downloads, yes. Reload. And it says it's unlocked. This is a problem. So this is not the problem I originally thought we had. Now let's see. Why does this think it is unlocked? Wow, my laptop sounds like it's about to take off. So if we go into use paywall, we say that if the window is undefined, then the page does not have a lock. Instead, we're going to turn this. Let's see. So if the window is undefined, we're going to make it locked by default and then unlock it. But that's not going to work. So the problem right now is that when this page gets generated, when it's being compiled at build time, there is no window definition, which means there's so the paywall disables itself because of SEO and other shenanigans. So what I'm going to try to do is invert that so that the page is locked by default and then unlocks itself upon when it's being rendered. And the problem we're going to run into that is with it's going to be with the page content detecting where the lock ID actually lives. So let's poke around with that. So if window is undefined, then if window is undefined, we return that lock is true. Otherwise, we're going to return whether the query selector has a hash lock on it, whether that exists. Okay. So now I should be able to, let's try reloading the page, and it should be locked at first. Oh, but then it renders as unlocked. So what happens if we just say, no, here's what we're going to do. Because we're faking it here when it's locked, I'm going to render a div with an ID of locked. And the reason this is important is because we don't want the home page to be locked. We only want the content pages to be locked. So let's see. Reload. We should now get the paywall. No. Okay. Give me just a second. The bird is not participating today. All right, so what the heck is going on here? Why is the content rendering as unlocked? So I'm going to Command Z here a little bit, and we're going to comment that out, and we're just going to say that it always has a lock, and we're going to render. Okay, so now that we say it always has a lock, it renders as locked. We do that. That rendered as locked. Okay, but now if I go to the home page, it's probably also going to render as locked, or maybe not because I'm not rendering the paywall there. Okay, so that's good, but if I go to the /thank you, which is what you see after you purchase, that should not be locked, and now it is. Hey Martin, how's Argentina? I've heard you have some really strict lockdowns these days in Argentina. Is that still going on? Yeah. So we don't want the thank you page to be locked. So what can we do? Okay, so this part works. It's now definitely rendering as locked, and it's also not actually rendering the content ever, right? Yes. Okay. Now, what do we get in the page data? Oh my God, computer, what is wrong with you? Okay, console log page. So I'm actually having lag just typing, which is fun. Let's see. Page is /thanks. Really? I thought it would have more data than that. Guess not. Oh, because we're just passing in the um right. We're passing in just the what's it called? The page path, which means I can just look it up instead of yeah or no. Maybe instead of looking for uh Martin, were you doing that on Safari by the way? Because I think I have a bug with Safari and third-party cookies right now. I need to look into that. Where was I? So the page gets just the page path, which means we could move all of this configuration into a. We could move it into the what's it called? Fuck. Why am I tired today? It could all go into a configuration, but I don't want to do that because I want it to be magical. Hey, Julian. So what we're going to try to see if we have access to the actual page content here. Uh, props page location path name. Let's call this page path just so it's more obvious. Page path, page path. Where is it? Page path, page path. Unlocked pages. Where does this come from? It's from local storage. Page is not defined. Where else? Unlock page path. Page path. Okay. So how can I get access to the actual content without making this hook a lot more complicated? See here where we're using the paywall. This needs to now say page path. And let's see, where am I rendering the paywall? Paywall, page props, location, path name. This is now going to be called page path. Now, let's see. Paywall. Let's console log the props here and see what's available. Console log props. Come on. Okay, props. Come on, props down there. Okay. So our props are, we are currently not authenticated. Load page sync, location, navigation, navigate page context, page resources, props. I don't know why props gets duplicated like that. That's a weird bug going on somewhere. Site description, site URL, set menu, page context, front matter, page resources, the component, the page, static query results. What is that? Site metadata, okay. JSON, no. Page, static query hash, component check, chunk name. Let's see. Sorry, I work on this stuff just little enough to always forget what it does. But I think if we could render to string, we should be able to find it there. Right? Let's see. Props page resources component. Page resources dot component. Now, how do we, if MDX content is a function, I wonder if we can render it into a string. No, that would become pretty complicated pretty fast. Okay, so what we're gonna do instead is actually use the whitelist approach. So we're gonna say here, it has lock if locked pages of page path. If that exists, then, or let's do it like this. So it's obvious this is a constant. Locked pages of page path. If that exists, then then it's locked, and we can make that more general later. For now, I just want to make it work. So const locked pages equals, actually, if locked pages includes page path. And wait, do I actually have that somewhere? That would be the same as scopes, route scopes, scoped routes. I know I have that somewhere. Okay, let's do some grabbing. Git grab scoped. No. Where am I doing that? Because I know I'm configuring it. Or am I not? Sorry, I forgot how to configure my own site. But I think it's gonna be here. No. Source. ls. So usually on my sites, I have a configuration that says which routes need which scope. But here, because I'm using a simpler approach, I don't have that. So do I have instructions for doing that? Let's see. GitHub. And I'm going to go to my course platform. There we go. There should be something here that tells me how to define scoped routes. Scoped routes. If you have scoped routes, put them inside source, course platform, constant scoped routes in this way. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do that. So we're gonna say if scoped routes, if scoped routes include if object.keys of scoped routes includes the page path, then we know that it is locked. And we import that from import scoped routes, right? Scoped routes from crap. How do I import scoped routes? Let's see. How am I doing that elsewhere? Scoped routes. I know that I'm doing this. I just keep forgetting how it works. Scope page map from constant scoped routes. Scope page map. Scoped pages, scoped route. But then that's going to change how everything gets rendered, which I don't want to do right now. So we're going to skip that. And let's go back to just making a locked pages list. So if locked pages includes page path, and we say const locked pages equals, and then can I make this easier? I wonder if we can query for it. Let's see if we oh wait, we in nav.mdx, if we can just get this stuff, that's basically all we need. No. I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way with a bunch of copy pasta. So we're going to say scoped pages. See, this is a good example of how you don't need to always be fancy and looking for scalable solutions. Sometimes you just need to get it working first, because we can definitely make this nicer later. First, I want to make sure that it works. And I'm just realizing now that that probably doesn't mean I need to make every page work. I could do it with just a few pages. But since we're here already, might as well, right? I missed this one. Bam. Oh, actually, I can also copy paste this, which will make it easier. So we just go like this. And yes, I know I could write a regex to let the editor do this for me, but honestly, this is not bad enough to deal with regexes. Okay. Pam, pam, pam. Come on, computer. Okay, or come on, fingers. I don't know. Somebody here is being slow, and I can't tell if it's me or my computer. Okay, so those are our locked pages now. And let's see. If I reload this, we're going to get a locked downloads page. In theory. Why is this not highlighting? Oh my god, because I have a typo. See, this is why I've switched to using TypeScript in most of my projects, because dealing with typos is just so silly. Now, why does this think it's unlocked? Locked pages includes, let's see, console log. Actually, let's add a debugger statement here, and we're going to try to see why this still thinks it's unlocked. Load page, get me into the debugger. Come on. Yay, debugger. Wow, my computer is so slow right now. What's it doing? Uh, okay, and why is this not zoomed in anymore? Come on, zoom. Okay, so if we say locked pages, that shows up. Page path is downloads. Locked pages dot includes page path. That returns true. Okay. So then has lock is also true. Perfect. Play. Yes, yes, debugger. Locked pages is true. Play. But it rendered as unlocked. Why did it render as unlocked? Oh, I know why it rendered as unlocked. God damn it. So that was dumb. I am in, I'm not in incognito. So in incognito though, it's going to work. Thanks is going to be unlocked. Great. Thanks is unlocked. And downloads is going to render as locked. Cool. We've got that part working. Now let's make sure that when it's unlocked, it still renders, you know, it needs to still render the actual content. So when it's unlocked, we're going to render props.children. So now when I reload this page, we're going to get locked and the paywall. Yes, that worked. And if we go to thanks, we are going to get the actual content. Cool. That's working. Now, how do we get the paywall to work correctly for actual chapters? Let's go. What's a good example of a chapter? If we go to getting started, come on. Okay, so getting started, here is, why is it rendering as, is this content unlocked? It's not supposed to be unlocked. It's rebuilding development bundle, okay. Reload the page, getting started. What do we get? Wait, is getting started one of those ones that's unlocked? Let's go here and we're going to console log whether the content is unlocked. And in the paywall, come on, click, we're going to, aha, it's because I missed the /. Cool. So that was another typo. Now, load the page, and this should hide. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So it's now saying that it's locked and, or what, undefined, sure. Now, how do we make it so that it still renders everything up to the first div ID lock component? Because the idea here, so, oh, come on, mouse, where are you? So the idea of this paywall is that it would let you read parts of the chapter, get to a certain point, and then when you get to like the middle of a chapter or the paywall that says, hey, you gotta at least opt in, give me your email, and then you can read the rest of this. So how do we make that work now that we're no longer rendering everything? That is a good question. So because if we just render props children here, then it's not going to work. What are props children? Let's console log that. So console log props.children, and let's see what that gives us. So children have whatever that is, and then they have the main, which then inside of it has content, which then inside of it has more stuff. We wonder, what if we stringify this? Let's see what happens. So if we say console.log react DOM, is it gonna auto import? No. Actually, let's just Google for that. So if we Google React render to string, I'm sure that's a thing that exists. React DOM server, okay, that works. The React DOM server objects enables you to render components to static markup. Typically, it's used on a node server. Render to string, render to static markup. These additional methods depend on a package stream only available on the server. What if I do React DOM? If you load React from a script tag, React overview, the React DOM package provides DOM specific methods that can be used at the top level of your app. But this render here needs a container. So what we want is actually React DOM server. So if we say import React DOM server from react-dom/server, then come on, save. There we go. So if we then say React DOM server dot render to string of props.children, we should be able to get something here. Let's see, what do we get? And this is probably very inefficient. Oh, we get a bunch of stuff. Cool. So a bunch of stuff shows up. Now, what can we do with this stuff? Can we find... Okay, so that there's 46 kilobytes of that stuff. Excuse me. I wonder... Okay, I'm gonna try something really hacky first, because I know that in here somewhere is a piece of code. So this is going to be insecure. Super insecure, but let's try it out. Console log const HTML equals React DOM server. And then we say, actually, we can split that by div id equals lock. Let's see, are all of them nice? Git grep lock. So all of them have this syntax in them. So if I split the code by that, actually, let's first see what's in there. I'm going to say const HTML equals blah. And then we're going to look at how it actually gets rendered using a debugger. So with a debugger, I'm going to check whether it gets... Oh crap, I accidentally stopped the server. So when the dev server starts up again, we're going to check whether this thing, what is it? So we're going to check whether it's rendering to string with a self-closing div tag or with a fully closing div tag, and then use that as the delimiter to split the content into two and take the first part and render that. We'll see if that works. Oh, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Okay, come on. Build the development bundle. You can do it. Sorry, I'm too tired to just keep bantering while I'm waiting for something. I don't know why I'm so tired though. I'm also way annoyed at my computer for being this slow. It must be thermal throttling because it's it's getting pretty warm in San Francisco. Silly summers. I wonder if I should get one of those Mac Mini. Maybe I should get a Mac Mini for live coding. That would be fun. Come on, build the stupid development bundle already so we can try this. Mm-hmm. Computer, come on. So, Julian, this is not an M1 MacBook Pro. This is the first generation 16-inch MacBook Pro. So it's from just before the M1s came out, which means I have no idea whether the M1 would be faster. The main problem with this one is that um, my camera is being rendered using the CPU. My whole screen is being streamed using the CPU. Node is running using the CPU, and everything is going with the CPU, which is fine because this is a ridiculously fast processor. I think it has an 8-core i9 in there, which is just amazing in a package of that size. The problem is that these computers, being laptops, they weren't designed. Oh wait, I should make myself bigger for this. So these computers, because they're laptops, they weren't designed to work under this much load all the time. So they start thermal throttling because they don't have enough air moving through the computer to keep themselves cool. So the problem ends up being that the processor is fast, but it starts warming up and starts making itself slower, which then so if I bought a Mac Mini or especially an M1 Mac Mini, I think it would work a lot faster because um, you know because it's a bigger package, it's more designed for heavy workloads. However, then I would have to have two computers. Okay, come on, come on, do it. Yay. Okay, so we should now get into the debugger eventually. Preparing requested page, wonderful. Yes. So debugger, we can go HTML dot, is it find new dot string pos? No, that doesn't exist. Includes, yes. So it includes div id equals lock. We know it's gonna find that, yes. Does it include it like that? Yep. And if we Okay. So we know it gets rendered as a full div tag, not as a self-closing div tag. So now we can remove the debugger and say we're going to split this by div id equals lock and div, and we're going to take the first part of this and we're going to close it off because we know that it ends with main. This is a privilege of this is not secure. I'm just gonna make a comment. Not generalizable. Very hacky. Okay. So now let's see if it actually works though. I'm gonna reload the page. Oh wait. So I just made the HTML, but I did not use the HTML. So we're going to say main ID content. Instead of main ID content, we're going to what errored out here? Validate DOM nesting, validate DOM nesting. Gatsby events for each is not a function. Okay, what if we just render boop? Let's make sure that it at least works at all. Oh, but then so boop works, boop renders. Let's console log the HTML, or rather, let's console log props children. No, let's console log the HTML because I don't want to render two mains one inside each other. That would be silly. So I'm going to console log the HTML just to make sure. See, we have main ID content. Instead, what if we look at props.children and get that one? So props children. Let's see if we can find the correct child for this stuff. So I wonder why why props children is an array of 2. Okay, props children, React element. What is this one? The second one is type main, and we have ID content and then children. I wonder if we can just modify that. That would be cool. Let's try that. If we go props children 1 dot children, what happens if we that here? So we're going to React DOM server to string this, and yeah. Wait, that's weird. Oh, that's what's going on. So this shouldn't actually be in a main, should it? No, because then we have that twice. Let's see. Sorry, this is a weird bug from me. So let's try. Let's try console logging the HTML again. Console log HTML. Let's see if this renders. Because we don't want to have div ID content twice. Oh, nice. Everyone has left. Oh, I guess it's been over. I haven't been streaming for over an hour yet. Okay, so we have the content of the page now. That starts with H1. Perfect. And okay. Let's try just setting this as dangerously set inner HTML. So go to down here, div. Aha, but here it does need to be. So main ID equals content. We don't need it to happen twice. Cool. And come on, scroll up, computer. You can do this. Here where we are rendering the content, here we're going to say, come on, dangerously, fuck, I need to look that up because I always forget. Dangerously set inner HTML. I just need to look up DOM elements. Dangerously, there we go. Dangerously set inner HTML equals to HTML. Now let's see if that renders. Oh, god damn it, where did that space come from? Let's just self-close this thing so that it's more obvious what's going on. Reload the page, and I think that's gonna make it work. Fingers crossed. Oh, it must be in the form, blah, 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 HTML. Underscore HTML. They just want to make it as ugly as possible. Does it work? Does it work? Aha. Okay. So that rendered. I think it's with the correct font. That seems to work. The things are there. And then it. Haha. Yes. So this seems to work. See, we got the thing, and then it vanishes and becomes the paywall. So that's cool. I think we need to make the paywall go a little higher up. We can do that here. Where is it? Thanks, blah, blah. Background image, absolute, fade out overlay, current style, top, math round dimensions dot height times 0.2. Let's do it times 0.1. I hope that works. Should work. Okay, reload the page. Okay, I can tweak that later. Now let's go to /downloads. Does that get locked immediately? Come on. Download PDF EPUB Mobi. That seems to work. Aha. So there's a problem with styles of the H1. The H1 styles are wrong. I can fix that later. Let's see if we go here. That seems to work. Okay. And if I log in, let's see what we get. If I log in, does it work? That's fun. Okay, so I'm gonna deal with that later, but we got the paywall fixed. It seems to work better now. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll have a write-up about what we did and some lessons learned on my newsletter in later this morning. So thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.